Hey guys, it's Kip here with KDC Marketing, and today I'm going to show you how to create a landing page in Wix. So in the last video that I did, I showed you how to create this wireframe in Figma using auto layout, and now I'm going to go and build this page out in Wix. So I've logged into my Wix website for KDC Marketing, and I'm on the home page. So the first thing I need to do is add a new page. So I'm going to come in here to manage pages. I'm going to add a page, and I just want a blank page. And I'm going to name this page Google Ads, because that's what my page is about, and it's going to be nested under my services. Okay, so this is what I start out with, just a blank page, and I'm going to start building this. So for this first section, this is a 2-column layout, so I'm just going to add a strip here and just a blank white strip, and then I can add the 2-column layout that I want. And on one side is going to be the image, and on the other side, I need to change this image, is going to be the text. So we'll see here. Upload this. Okay, and that'll upload. And then once that's ready, I'm going to go ahead and add that image. And attach it here to the strip. And I'm going to center it there. And then I'm going to add the text. So over here, drive results, that'll be my main heading, so I want to use my heading 1. And I'm going to do this, but I'm going to make it bigger. And make this bold. Okay, so I'm already starting to get the first section done. I'm going to add in my paragraph here, again a text. Okay, so I'm just getting that first layout set up. I'm going to stretch this text a little bit. So the reason I want to use a strip is because when I go to edit this on a mobile device, the strip will help. I'm actually going to use this button. Nope, I don't like that button. I'm going to use a different button. When I go to do a mobile device, it'll make it look good on mobile, so I'll show you that in a second. Just going to center all these really quickly. And okay, then this will say start now. Just like in our wireframe, we have start now. Okay, so we have our first section done. I am going to make this a little more center. I'm going to rename this to the hero section. And if I look at it on mobile, like these two are, since they're in a column layout, then this is why it's good to do it in a strip, because we can change the columns. So I want that to be on top for mobile, and then the image, and so I'm able just to flip that around since it's in a strip. Okay, then I would do the next section here, which is this blue section, and I'll use a strip for this again. So I'll just do a blank section, and then I'll add a strip in here. And this time we're going to have a 3-column layout. To get those numbers. So we're going to add some text here. This time we're going to do a heading 2. And we're going to make this text, what is this? 48. 48, so. this one's 64, so we need this one even bigger. Let's actually make this a heading 3 and put it down to 64. This is just the number that's going to be there. So we have 63%. And I just like to copy over from Figma, it's just easier, which is why it's always good to do your design in Figma first, and then you don't have to retype everything. So you can see that this is starting to come along. And starting to get my layout done in here. Okay. So I've got the first section, I've got the first number, and I'm just gonna copy, I'm gonna group these and then copy them over. Put one in this column. Here, move these both up. Oh, thought I had the other one. Yes, I'm going to attach it to the column. So I'm going to center as well. And then I'll grab this one. For some reason, it's not letting me grab the group very easily. Here we go. There we go. Okay. And then I have the other metrics to put in. So 50%. Got that in there. So you can see that a little bit slower than doing this in Figma. Okay. All right, so I've got my numbers in there. Then I just need to get the header, which is why Google Ads. And this is 48 at a heading 2, so we'll get a heading 2. And we could do it here in the middle column. Well, actually, we're going to do that outside of the strip, so that it can be on top of everything. I'll make sure this is a 48 pixel font or font size. Didn't take that for some reason. There we go. Okay. So we got our section starting to come together here. Just gonna space this a little bit differently. Center this. And then this section background, we want to be the blue right there. We'll change this to white. And you want to do the same thing with the strip background. So we're going to have to do it by column. But we're going to want these all to be that same blue color. We're going to ungroup these so we can edit the text. We're editing 2 at once, so that's good. Okay. So now we got our second section starting to come together. Okay. So there we go. We've got our first section and our second section. And if we look at this on mobile, this needs a little bit of work here. So for some reason there's a lot of space between this column too. We actually want to space these a little bit better altogether. And column 3. Give this a little more room here. Okay, there we go. So we're starting to get the two sections together. And if I wanted to make that stand out a little bit more, I might put some spacing between these columns. So I would just go to the strip and then the layout to do that. And I might add a little bit of spacing. And then we would have to actually change the section background, so that wouldn't show up this way. But if we did have a different background color, like if this was a white behind it, those would show up, those lines would show up a little bit. Okay, so, and we might actually want this to be on top. So the first thing they see is an image. Yeah, I kind of like that. Okay, so there's the first two sections, and then we'll go build the remaining couple of sections here, and pretty soon we'll have our landing page ready to go. Alright, so now we're going to do the YKDC marketing section, and I'm actually going to duplicate this section to speed this up after I name this section Why Google Ads. So I can do that if I click on the section. And then, let's see, how do I duplicate this? I think I have to go here. Here we go. So I've duplicated this section because it's a really similar layout to the last section on the landing page. So I'm going to just take this header, put this in, shut this back out and center it. And then we have another 3-column section here, although this needs to be like a heading 6, and the size for this is 24, so we're going to go back in, make this 24 pixels, and we're going to change the color to, actually we're going to leave it black because this will be black, so perfect. And then we have our paragraph here, and I will change this back to a regular paragraph 3 so that it is black as well. So this section background needs to go back to white. This text needs to go to black. And same with each of these columns. So we will do that quickly. And I am going to fix the spacing here. Sorry, in the space between, I actually wanted 8 pixels. I'm going to fix this one real quick too, just to get it more even. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing here. So I'll copy this over and make this a heading 6 at 24. And we'll have this section done quickly. And then we can move on to some other sections. So I can already tell this one is a little too long now that we have some smaller headings that we are working with. So we will resize this in just a second, and then it will look great. So you can do what I did there, or just copy and duplicate sections to save time. That way you don't have to redo the whole entire layout again. So anytime you can duplicate sections is a great thing because it'll save you a ton of time. Okay, so now that I've got my strip in here, I need to add this button that is in this section. And so I'm going to go back to up here. It's going to be the same button. I'm just going to copy this and bring it down to here. Copy and paste again. A lot of copy and paste. So I will center that, and I'm going to work on centering these now in my different columns. I'm actually going to go up a little bit. That looks good there. I'll get these all to snap to each other so they're in the same places. Okay, so pretty close. So I think we're gonna actually center this one based on the other two. Okay. So now I've got my YKDC marketing section, and if I check it on mobile, it probably needs a little bit of moving around. This one actually looks pretty good compared to some of the others. I might just move this down just slightly. And then I'm going to change this section title to YKDC Marketing. And that section is good to go. Okay, for the next section, we're going to have a 2-column layout here. And again, I'm just going to duplicate this section up here. So I'm going to zoom back out. I'll grab this section. I will duplicate it, move it down, and zoom back in. And then what I'm going to do to just make this a 2-column section really quick is just delete one of the columns. So now we're back to the 2 columns. We have the right colors for the boxes, and now we're going to be able to see the spacing between the columns that I was talking about earlier. So this section is going to be called our pricing, and we're going to get it right there, our pricing, and then we have a little paragraph which is different than the other sections, but it'll be easy for us to add that in. So we're just going to add in a themed text paragraph, and I'll get that added there, and we're going to make our section a little bigger here. Okay, so we've got our paragraph here, and kind of space these out a little bit. And I will get both of these centered. Not sure if that one did, so I'm gonna try again. It didn't. Okay. Our pricing, perfect. And in this design, these don't go all the way to the end, so I'm actually gonna make this strip just go to the page. That way they don't go all the way to the end. These ones are a little wider here, but I'm okay with it being just in this box that Wix puts it in here for me for now. So I'm going to move my header here and check what size that was. It's a pretty good size header. It's a 48. So we'll just keep it heading 3 at 48. I'm going to have to do it again because I didn't have the text highlighted. And then rather than do this one twice, I'm just going to copy this one over and get our other side, the management fee. Perfect. Yep, okay. I'm gonna make this a little bit wider. See if I can get that to, I'll do the same here, just to make them even. Okay, then once I get these lined up, then I need to add in my icon. So I will add in an image. I think it's over here, and this is a good tip to know. So if you can't find something, you just click the search bar up here, and if I type in icon and hit enter, it'll find it for me right here really fast. So I'm just going to add an icon for now, and then I can add in my icon. So I'm just going to look for a gear because that's the first one. And yeah, our gear looks more like this. Shrink it down, and then we'll recolor this gear to be white. So I could upload the actual file of the gear, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to keep this one here to get the design down, and then I can upload it. And then there's a little paragraph that goes under. Perfect. And then we'll center these pieces here. So go ahead and do that. And then under management fee, we need the same thing. So I'm just going to copy this gear over. Before I do that, I'm going to size this a little bit smaller, 40 by 40, and then copy it over. So they're exactly the same size. Grab this paragraph for our management fee and bring this up. I'm going to space them there. Okay. So now that I've got this, if I did want to change this out, I could add in my own custom vector art. I'm just going to work with Wix's vector art for now, so it won't be exactly the same as my wireframe, at least on that part. So this is pretty close to the same idea, just a nice data graph. Okay, and then we have our pricing section, so I'm going to also rename this to our pricing. Perfect. So I'm starting to get the layout of the site here. It's coming together nicely. And then here, again, this already looks pretty good to me. I wouldn't really make too many changes here. Perfect. So on to the next section, our services. This is going to be 2 3-column grids. So I'm actually going to use a repeater here, and I will show you how to do that next. So Wix has a great thing called a repeater. I think I added it above, so I'm going to add it here. So it's going to do a blank section. Okay, so I have my next section here. So I'm going to add a repeater. And repeaters are awesome. They let you do something once and then it'll repeat down. So here's exactly what I have, my 6 services. Okay, so I've got that, and then I need my heading, which will be our services. So I'll duplicate this, bring this down, and attach it to the section, put in our services. All right. So once I have this down, then I can start putting in these. So this is going to be 24. So I'm going to do another heading 6 here. And make sure it's 24 pixels. And you're going to see as I'm editing one, I'm going to be editing all of these. So for some reason that jumped way up here, but this needs to be 24. Not sure why it keeps jumping me up. All right, so I got my title, and there it is. I'm going to center that so it matches the wireframe. Drag these out, get this a little more centered. And here I might go, that's good enough. Okay. Give a little bit of a longer paragraph here, which is perfect. Okay. So what's going to happen is once I get these all set up, they'll all match in size. So, and then I only have to design these once and they'll repeat. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with the remaining ones. They'll all be the same exact paragraph and styling. And I actually might leave a little bit of color on these. In the wireframe it's white, but I might leave some color on these ones here. Okay. So these are coming in nicely and pretty quick now. And that way in the future, if I ever had other services I wanted to add or delete, I just have to delete an item. Makes it super simple. And also shows the versatility of the elements that you can use in Wix. There's repeaters, there's strips, there's columns, all kinds of things. Okay, so I've got this section here now. So I can mess with this layout now. I can stretch it, and maybe I want to stretch it. Maybe I don't want to stretch it. I can put the spacing between the items. I can affect a lot of different things in here. So I think this looks okay for now, and I'm going to start changing these backgrounds to probably a lighter gray or a white. We could do white. We'll go ahead and match the wireframe. But if we wanted to have them be a different color, we totally could. We could have some be white, some be a kind of an off gray, just to give it a little bit more. So if we wanted the middle ones to be a little bit different, you can see there's a little difference there. Then that middle one's a little bit darker, just slightly darker. And that's looking really great. So these ones kind of stand out a little bit more. And then I can check what that looks like on mobile. Make sure it's looking good. So you can see that little bit of gray there. Kind of makes certain ones pop. But looking really good pretty quickly there. And I'm going to just name this section now our services. Okay, we only got a few sections left, so we have our get started today. This is very similar to our section up here, up top, so I'm just going to duplicate this, save ourselves some time, not start from scratch every single time. Just move this down, move it down, and there we go. And I'm going to have this one be different than the top one. I don't want it stretched the whole way, so I'm going to make it just to the page again. And I'm going to change my image here. Okay, so I'm going to get this Google Ads image going. And then once that's there, I'll update that. And then accidentally deleted that text. Okay, so we have get started today. We have our paragraph here and our button. So pretty quickly, the section's coming together. We just need to space these items out. We'll put the text in the very middle, space the button in the header. Okay, those were lined up. So, and hopefully our image is uploaded now. Sure enough, here it is. And we've got that section looking pretty good. We don't really need a title up here because this acts as our title. And I am going to make this a heading 2 at the same size because I don't want a heading 1 way down here. So I'm just going to make this 40. And there we go. And then we have our last item. And this is going to be, this is actually a blog post that I did with about the Google Ads budget calculator. So I'm going to see if I can just add a native blog element into here. And I should be able to recent post. Yeah, so I could add it in. This is more of what I was going for, or this here, just kind of a tile of the blog. And there it is. So that must be my most recent post. And I would imagine I can choose what posts is on here if I were to play with this. So perfect. So I'm just going to have it show 1 in the Google Ads category. And we can have it show all these different things, the publish date, the reading time. I might just put the title and okay. And then I'm going to make my section a little bit bigger, and I am going to pull this header over. So I've got the same section as our other sections and just call it additional resources. So I'll center that, stretch this out, recenter it, and I'll center this. You know, I actually might show, I have some other blog posts, so I might show 2 or 3 and see what I can do with this here. So that doesn't actually give me more posts. Okay. So I would play around with that a little bit, maybe change this a little more. I might be able to have a button added to it. Okay, it'll let me do quite a bit in here. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's see what that looks like on mobile. Oh, I like the picture on top there. That's looking really good. And then additional resources. This is also looking great. I might just see if I can get this to stretch just slightly. That's perfect. Okay, so we've got our landing page here. This is what it looks like on mobile. And one of the things you can do with Wix that I love is you can go to this preview button before we ever publish it. Make sure it's how we want it. There's our little colored repeater. Okay. The other only thing I might do is add a form to this page so that they don't have to jump off to another page. But I'll show that as well really fast. So once we have everything here like we like it, there is one thing I did want to change. I feel like these are spaced out a little too far. So I'm going to bring that up and bring this section up itself. Bring that up a little bit. That's why you always preview things. And then these buttons we're going to link, and just for the sake of time, I'm going to link them to our homepage form. So we have a form on our homepage that is going to have a contact, get a quote. So it's our quote section. So I'm going to link that button up. I'm going to link this button up. Go to section on the home page. It's going to be our price quote. And I don't think I have any other buttons. I do have one last button. So again, home and price quote. Okay, and then if I preview this, that link should work in real time. If I click it, perfect. It takes us back to the page. So, all right, and that is how we are able to build a landing page in Wix based on our Figma wireframe. It's not exact, it's pretty close. There's things we could do to make it more exact, and so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'm also going to show one last thing here. You can manage the permissions once this page gets created. So I'm going to allow this for everyone. I'm going to check the SEO and make sure that the URL is okay. If I wanted to put a description in here, I might even just take this and put this as our meta description here. So if I go to SEO basics, I'll put this in. Perfect. And it's nested right under our services. It's got the right URL. Everything's looking good. So I will go in and publish this page. And once I publish it, it will be live. So if I go and view the site, then under services, we'll have our Google Ads page that we just built. And hey, look, here it is. And we've got all the sections that we want. And if we ever wanted to go back in here and edit something, like if we feel like, hey, this is too stretched out, I want these actually closer together, then we can do that and we can publish. And I think that actually does look a lot cleaner. And once we get there, we'll see that change update, and it will be a real page. Another thing we could do is go in and add animations to these. We could go in and add hover actions, like maybe if they hover over this box, then, or these different services, then something happens or they get started today. So there's a lot we could do to make this page even better than what it is right now. It's pretty static, but we can make it a lot more active and interactive over time. So that's how you build the page in Wix. I hope there were some tips there that will save you some time duplicating sections, using repeaters, using strips to get the layout that you want. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to comment or subscribe or like this video, and we'll see you in the next one.